Okay, so are you able to see the questions?
No, yeah, I can see.
Okay, all right. So let's get started. So, okay, this is the first question. Okay, so if d by 2 plus 1 is greater than 0 and it is less than 8 by 5, which of the following is not a possible value of d? So pehle to let's just find the range for d. For finding the range of d again, we need to make d the subject. So I will take this minus 1 on both sides. So that would make it minus 1 less than d by 2 less than equal to 8 by 5 minus 1, sorry. Okay, this should be minus 1. Okay, so this would become what? That d by 2 is greater than minus 1 and it is less than 3 by 5. And if I take this 2 on both sides, I will get minus 2 less than d less than equal to 6 by 5, right, Ishal? Did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so which of the following is not a possible value of d? What do you think about this question? What should be the answer?
0.
0, because look, 0
No,
would be
-2. -2. Sorry,
excellent.
-2.
Very well done. Very good, because minus 2 is not in this range, right? So again, since I'm teaching you, so I had to do it, the complete question. But yes, if you look at this question, you would know immediately that on this side, once you make d the subject, you will get minus 2 here, and this side does not have equality in it. It's only the less than sign, right? So this means that the answer would be minus 2, because minus 2 would not be in that range. Okay, let's talk about the next question. Question 3. So it is the graph of the equation above is a circle. Okay, what is the area in square units of the circle? Yes, Ishal, what do you know about the equations of a circle? What is this value? This value is r square.
Yes, ma'am.
So if this is r square, it's very easy. Pi r square, so it would be 25 pi. This would be the answer, because r square is 25 and we need to multiply pi. Okay, this is simple. And the center of the circle would be what?
-3 and -1.
Very well done, excellent. Minus 3 and minus 1. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about another question. Okay, so if k is greater than 0 and x is 7 in the equation above, what is the value of k? Okay, so how do we do such questions? Again, we will just plug in the values. This k square plus 17 equals x. I'm guessing x is 7. Okay, now I need to square both sides just to get rid of this under root. It would become 2k square equals 7 square is 49 minus 17. And k square would be 49 minus 17 is 32. 32 divided by 2 This would be 16. So k would be easy, right? Under root 16, that is 4. So this would be the answer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is the only choice. Like I don't have -4 here. That is why I just choose 4. Okay. But since I've been telling you guys, whenever you are solving such questions, always recheck your answer. Now, in this case, this is the only option, so I had to choose C. I did not have none in the choices, so I did not waste time in checking. But otherwise, I would strongly advise to check your simultaneous equations and such equations by plugging in the values in the equations back and see if you're getting equal size or not. Okay. Acha. Let's talk about this question now. So basically we have f of x is 7 minus 4x and f of g of x is -1 for all values of x. Then g of x is, so what do you think about this question? How do we solve such questions? No idea? Okay. So
Will you
basic,
just use the
okay, okay.
options given?
These are the options 2, 3. No, I just want you to tell me the idea, like not the answer. We can do it together because I have to share the recording as well.
I think you have to use the options given.
Okay. Acha, okay. Look, okay, that obviously that option can work for every that method would work for every question. But if we can also think about this question this way as well. This is f of x, okay? And this is f of g of x. So this is a composite function. Let's try finding out the expression for this function. So if f of x is 7 minus 4x, f of g of x would be the same thing. The only difference would be instead of x, I will have g of x, and this is equal to -1. Now I just need to make g of x the subject. So this would be -4 into g of x equals -1 -7, and g of x is going to be -8 by -4, and that will give me 2. So A would be the answer, right? The method which you told me, like we can check the options. Yes, that is correct. Like we can do that for every question, but obviously that would be more time taking. Okay. In this question, we had this equation. So using this equation, we could easily tell that g of x is 2, right? By just using the concept of composite function. So did you understand this thing? That how I plugged in g of x instead of x?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the next question. We have Zahid as well. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this question now. What is the set of all solutions to the equation? Okay, now this is again a question. How do we solve such questions? By making x the subject. So I'll be squaring both sides and I will have x x plus 2 equals minus x square. Minus x square would be simple x square. Okay. And now I need to find the values. Okay. So can you guys please tell me the answers, not the options, but the roots which you get for x, like for this equation. What are the roots of this equation?
-1 and 2.
Okay. So you are getting x equals -1 and x equals 2. So should I directly go and choose option A, or should I check the
When you
values?
substitute -1, that's the only one that satisfies the equation.
-1, right?
Yeah, -1.
Okay. So this means that x equals 2 is not going to work. So we will not use that. Okay. So the answer would be B. Okay. So the reason behind doing this question was just to emphasize on the fact that it's extremely important to check your values. Okay. Now let's talk about this question. What is an equation of the line L in the figure above? Okay. Now this is line L. What would be its equation? अच्छा एक तो बात ये है कि since this line is coming downwards, its slope would be negative. So I will immediately just cross choice D. D cannot be the choice, right? Its slope is going to be negative, and what is the y-intercept? Y-intercept is if this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So this means that the answer would be okay. Now again, the answer cannot be A. The answer would either be B or it would be C. Now, how do we choose between these two?
We find the gradient.
Yes. Okay. And how do we find the gradient? So this point, this first point is basically 0, 3, and this point is 2, 0. So right. So it's very obvious. It would be what, guys? It is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So y would be in the numerator. So this means 3 by 2, right? Minus 3 by 2. So B would be the answer. Is this okay? Both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this question. Which of the following numbers is not a solution of the inequality? Again, as we have been doing, we will make x the subject. I'll take -3 to the other side. It would become -5 plus 3 greater than equal to 4x minus 3x. That would be simple x. And then -2 greater than equal to x. Now, as soon as we come across such states, just draw a number line -1 and -2, a rough number line, okay? And we know that x is greater than or equal to that. So, which of the following numbers is not a solution? Okay, okay, so sorry,
-1.
-1 is in this range. Wait, it is 4x minus 3x minus 5 plus 3. This should be -2 greater than equal to x. Okay, -1 and -2 are in the range, but -3 and -5 both of these are not in the range. So how do we do this then?
We substitute both of them in the inequality.
Okay, and then what are you getting? For x equals -3. So 3 into -3 would be -9 minus -9 minus 5 minus
This
14.
5 is the correct.
Okay, so it is minus, let's just do it together. It's -14. And what is this side? This side is 4 into -3, that is -12, and -12 and exactly. So this would be satisfied, right? -14 is greater than this side. So this means that -3 will give us the correct answer. So obviously D would be the choice, right? Now in this question, now this is another variety that initially we tried doing it this way and we did. So we were getting this range. This range is correct. This is not wrong. But -3 is here and then -5 is here. ये दोनों ही seem to be not a solution of the inequality. So this means that we had to check C and D options, right? And as soon as we checked C option, that looked like a solution. So this means that D would be the answer. So did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about you, Zahir?
I didn't really understand this.
Hmm.
Like how, since like minus two is greater than x, and
Yes.
minus one is like greater than minus two, then how can it
Yeah, okay, okay,
not?
okay. Okay, I understand. I understand that. Okay, that is correct. Yes, you are right. This is what we are getting from this inequality, right? But it is not, at times the question formation and all that can have something wrong in it. Okay. If you try making the two lines for this, and if you do it that way, because you know that this is 3x minus 5 would be a line, and then 4x minus 3 would also be a line. If you do it that way, maybe through that you get the correct answer, right? Since in SAT you will be having MCQs, this means that yes, there is a possibility that you end up getting two options as your answer, but then you have to check that, because it is not necessary that this inequality is 100% correct, right? It could be that there's some problem with this inequality. Do you understand this?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Wait, sorry. Yeah, say it again.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, I totally agree that, and this was the reason behind picking this question, because the fact that we tried doing it the way we do it, right? And we ended up getting C and D both as our options, right? And what I personally think is that students would have just chosen C option, because like that comes first, and this would be their mistake. Since we know this method that we can always use our answers, obviously that is not advisable, you don't have that much time, but for such questions, yes, you have to do it this way. Okay. So minus 3 was again satisfying the equation. Now this means that there is some problem in this inequality. We did this correctly. 4x minus 3x is certainly x. Minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2. This is what we will get. But then why is minus 3 satisfying the inequality? This means that there was something different in this inequality, I would say, if not wrong, right? So yes, this can happen. That's completely fine. This can happen. Okay?
Okay,
Okay. Acha, let's talk about the fourth question. Like this next question, basically. From the set of integers from 1 to 2 inclusive, okay? Two integers are randomly selected, one after the other with replacement. Okay. What is the probability that sum of the two integers is greater than 5? Yes. So again, we need to find the probability. We will have the total options in the denominator and the this part in the numerator, that the sum is greater than 5. So what are the total options? What do you guys think? Again, we have sum of two integers, right? Sum of two integers. And what is the question? From the set of integers 1 to 10, how many numbers do we have from 1 to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 10 numbers, and I had to count this because at times we have 0 to 10 and students again write 10. In case of 0 to 10, we have 11 numbers. Okay, so this makes it 10 numbers inclusive of two integers. Okay, inclusive. Two integers are randomly selected, one after the other with replacement. What do you understand by this term? With replacement. Yes.
like you take out a number and then that same number replaces the spot,
The same number replaces what?
same position.
Yeah, basically it means that, okay, so have you ever solved different probability questions? The ones with, the ball example? where you had to take out red ball and stuff like that. And then with replacement means
Yeah.
that once you take that out, so you put that back again. This means that it could be the two numbers are same, right? So um, what is the probability that sum of two integers is greater than 5 means that it could be sum of two same integers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, acha. So this means that what are the total possibilities in this question? If we have 10 options and both the numbers can be same, this is what replacement means. Both the numbers can be same. So what are the total number of possibilities? How many sums can we find with by adding these two numbers? Yes, that would be 10 multiplied by 10, right? Okay, look, we have 1, 2, 3, and so on. All these numbers till 10. Okay. What is the question? The question is from the set of integers 1 to 10. You have to have written 1 to 10, inclusive 1 and 10 are also added. Two integers are randomly selected, one after the other with replacement. This means that two integers could be 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 10, right? The question is, what is the probability that sum of the two integers is greater than 5? So did you understand the fact that why the total number of outcomes is 100 in this case? So 100 would come in the denominator.
Yeah.
Okay, acha. Now the fact that what is the probability that sum of the two integers is greater than 5? Now this would be very difficult. Finding this would be very difficult. Greater than 5 would be very difficult, right? So it's much better that we find the probability for less than 5 and then we subtract that from 1. Okay, did you understand the idea?
Yeah.
ठीक है अच्छा perfect. So how many what is the probability of the two integers of that the sum of two integers is greater than 5? So what is the probability that the sum of the two integers is less than 5? So what if I do 1 plus 1, that would be less than 5. Okay, so we have one option. Okay, so what if I do 1 plus 2, that would again be less than 5. 1 plus 3, again that would be less than 5. And 1 plus 4, no, that would not be less than 5. Okay, okay. What about 2 plus 1? Okay, that is already done. That is already done. Then what about 2 plus 2? Yes, that is also included because that is less than 5. Okay, and any other numbers do you think?
3
And
plus
3
2.
plus 1.
Sorry, I was not able to hear you.
3 plus 1.
3 plus 1, yes. And
3 plus 2.
3 plus 2, okay, all right. Yes, because basically, very well done, excellent. Why 3 plus 2? Because 3 plus 2 is giving us 5. And yes, we have to include that. I did not include that initially just to see if you guys know this concept or not. Now, here we have greater than 5, right? Greater than 5 means the other probability would be less than equal to. So we need to include those as well. Okay? So let's count this again. Let's count this again. So this is going to be, for 1, we will have 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, and 1 plus 4 as well, because 1 plus 4 will also give us 5. Okay, and we have to include 5 as well. Acha. What about 2, guys? What about 2? We have 4 for 1. What about 2? Yes. 2 plus 2
4. Yeah.
and
2 plus 3.
hmm. Okay. So we have 2 for 2. And what about 3?
3 plus 1. 3 plus oh, 3 plus 2 is already done.
Okay, and 3. What about 3 plus 1? Isn't 3 plus 1 already done as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not sure.
Okay. Okay. So this means that since we are counting for less than and equal to 5, right? That is the first thing. The second thing is that what is the question? The question says two integers are randomly selected one after the other with replacement. Okay. So what are you doing? You're basically doing this that you have 10 numbers, just imagine this, okay? And you are picking up numbers. So initially you did one, and then when you took one out again, you kept that back, and then again you have one in your options as well, right? So for such questions, this is not the correct method. Like this counting method is not the correct method. So we do it this way. Like obviously counting method was the idea. Yes, we have to do it that way. But in order to find what would come in the numerator, we need to do it this way. So basically for 1, we have, just imagine that you took 1 out and then again you will get your answer less than or equal to 5 if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, so this means that for 1 you have 4 options. Okay, let's talk about 2. Now just imagine again you are doing the same thing and you have taken out 2, you put it back. Now what is the probability? And like how many numbers do you have in your options? Again you have 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Okay. So this time you have 3 options. Okay. What about the number 3? What is the case for 3? For 3, you again imagine you have taken out 3, you have kept it back. What could be the next number such that your answer is less than or equal to 5? It could be 1, it could be 2, right? So you have 2 options. And what about 4? For 4, again imagine you have taken out 4, you have one option only. That is 1. Okay, so yes, we are repeating things because we have this word here, replacement ka word yahan pe hai. Okay, every time the situation would be new, although you did 1 plus 2 initially, but that is not your mistake. If you are taking out 2 this time, the next number could be 1. Okay, this you have to understand this concept. Okay, now listen. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10. Okay, this is 10. If I divide it by 10, what do I get? Yes, what do I get? 10 divided by 100 would be 0.1.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 0 0.1. So should I choose the option? No, 0 0.1 is not the answer. The question was, what is the probability that the sum of two integers is greater than 5? Okay, so for greater than 5, I will do probability of the sum of two integers less than equal to 5 minus 1. So it would be 1 minus 0.1 and the answer would be A, right? A would be the answer. And yes, you could have done the same method directly for greater than 5, but that would be more time taking. Like you could have, started your discussion with 3. Okay. So this time around, if you will have or maybe with 4 as well, because 2 plus 4, and in that case you would have to count so much: 2 plus 4, 2 plus 5, 2 plus 6, 2 plus 7, then for every, the same method for 3, the same method for 4, the same method for 5. So that is very, very time taking, right? So it is always advisable that in the questions of probability, go for the easier one, and then just subtract that probability from one, and you will get the correct answer. So did you understand this question, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ishan, what about you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Acha, now we have another question, that is, okay. The table above shows the distribution of age and gender for 25 people who entered a contest. If the contest winner will be selected at random, what is the probability that the winner will be either a female under age 40 or a male of age 40 or older? So, what is the question? We need to find the probability, okay? And whenever we have been asked to find probability, again in the denominator we have the total number. So there's no point in writing that down because we already have the total number everywhere in the denominator. We just need to choose that. What is the question? What is the probability that the winner will be either a female under age 40? So female under age 40, how many do we have? 3. We have 3 for this. And then male age 40 or older. So we have male age 40 or older. So this is 8, sorry. Okay, yes. So what should be the answer? Should the answer be D or should the answer be B?
B.
Okay, and what about you, Ishan? Yes, did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think?
B.
B, very well done, excellent. Why? Because we have the word or here. Okay, so we will just add these two. We will not multiply. Most of the time, students start, asking that why are we not multiplying? We are not multiplying because of this word or. You can clearly see that you have or. Whenever you have or, you just add them up. If we had and, yes, in that case we would have done something different. But this is or. Okay. So for this, we have to add them up. Okay. All right. So, and yes, in this question, they would not give you and because that does not make sense. The and questions are basically the ones in which we have probability, and then you have to, either add them or multiply them. Acha. Let's talk about next question. Okay. So, which of the following lines contains all points equidistant from points this and this in the xy plane? Yes. Which of the following lines? Now, A, B, C, D, all these are lines. And the question is that which of the lines contains all points equidistant from the points 0, 4 and 8, 0 in the xy plane? Yes, anyone? Any idea? Acha, okay. For imagining this, let's make the xy plane because only then we would be able to imagine. What is 0, 4? 0, 4 means a point on the y-axis somewhere here. Okay, this is 0, 4. This is 0 and 4. And the other point is 8, 0. So it would be somewhere here, 8 and 0. Okay, and what is the question? Which of the following lines contains all points equidistant from the points this and this. So, and what do you understand by this? Equidistant from points 0, 4 and 8, 0. What is equidistant? Equidistant means equal distance, right? ये जो हमारी लाइन होगी उसके ऊपर जितने भी पॉइंट्स होंगे उनका जो डिस्टेंस 0, 4 से है वही डिस्टेंस 8, 0 से हो, राइट? All points equidistant from 0, 4 and 8, 0. ठीक है? Did you understand the basic idea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what do you think? What should be the answer? Acha, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this option. Okay. In a option, we will have y equals something with x that would be with a negative gradient. And what would be the y-intercept? The y-intercept would be minus x plus 4, okay, because I have to divide that by 2. अच्छा, एक तो ये negative है, दूसरा ये 4 से गुजर रहा है, तो it would be what? Yes. Yes, guys. This
Sorry,
line
I
would
didn't
be
really.
this line would be passing through which points? This line.
The
Eh,
points.
sorry.
That line is gonna pass through the 2 points mentioned in the question.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so this would be this line, right? This is the line A. Okay. Acha, what about this line? It is again y equals x by 2. So the only thing is that there would be something different with the slope, but baki it would be passing through the origin. ठीक है? अच्छा. Ab clearly we can clearly see that this line cannot be the answer because there's an obvious difference. 8, 0 is much farther and 0, 4 is closer, right? So equidistant to be nahi ho usse. This cannot be the answer. Okay. And what about this one? Again, we have y equals minus 2x. This means that this is for B. And let me use some different color now. So it would be something of this type, right? Okay. So this is for D. And what about C? C would have a positive gradient and its y-intercept is negative. So it would be passing through minus 6 and then again going up. So it would be, what would be its value on the x-axis? Y should be 0, so it would be passing through 3, right? Somewhere here. So it would be this line. This is for C. Acha, so what do you think?
C.
C would be the answer. And why?
Because the other options don't really
Hmm.
make up an
Look
equal
like
distance.
exactly.
So
They don't make sense. Exactly. Yes, very good. Because in the very first option, yes, that is correct. Our line is passing through 0, 4 and 8, 0, but all points of the line are clearly not equidistant from the. For example, if I talk about this point of the line, इसका 0, 4 से इतना सा distance है and 8, 0 से it has this much distance. ठीक है? This means that this cannot be the choice. So I will rub this line and we will talk about other lines. So this cannot be the choice. Okay. Okay. Acha. Let's talk about some other line. Let's talk about B line. Okay. Let's say I talk about, let's say this point, the point right at origin. यहाँ पे इसका और इसका डिस्टेंस कितना है 4 यूनिट्स का एंड इसका और इसका डिस्टेंस कितना है 8 यूनिट्स का राइट. So clearly B is not the answer. Similarly, the last option, that is the D option, is also going through the origin. So उसमें भी same problem होगा at the origin point. So that cannot be the answer. And the only option is C. And that made sense, right? So C is the answer. So Ishal, did you understand this question?
No, because when they said equidistant in the question, I don't really understand what distance they're talking about.
Okay, I'll tell you. Equidistant basically means that whatever line they're talking about, all the points on that line should have equal distance from the point 04 and the point 80. For example, if I say that there's a point A that is equidistant from 04 and 80, this means that this point would be somewhere here. This point would be A. And now if I measure the distance with 04 and with 80, it is going to be same, right? This is what equidistant means. Equal distance. Okay, this is a word which is coming from equal distance, right? Acha. So in this question, basically we had to make different lines and see that which line has all the points such that they are equidistant from 04 and 80. Okay? The very first line was passing through the points 04 and 80. And I told you that that cannot be the answer because the point at 04 is basically on 04. The distance is 0 and it is very much away from 80, right? And the debate was that they should be equidistant. Okay? Similarly, the points passing through origin, I told you that they had a 4-unit difference with the point 04 and 8-unit difference with the point 80. So we are not checking all the points. We can just check one point because the claim was that it should be all points should be equidistant from 04 and 80, right? Did you understand it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure? Like I can do it on whiteboard as well.
No, I've got it now.
Okay. So I think now we should talk about the questions which you wanted me to do. Okay, this it was the first question. It's got first part, right? The 22nd part, the first one. Okay. So basically, this is a question and we need to do this part. So let's read it out first. So a company makes and sells only two products, P and Q, and makes all products at factories W and Z. The table above shows the number of units of each product made at each factory during a year. The product P, the function F above, this one, represents the projected annual revenue from sales of product P as a function of the price per unit where A and K are constant. Okay, so basically this information was just referring to these two things, so we can look at them directly. Okay, let's talk about the question now. Based on the graph of F, which of the following is a factor of f of x? Now, this question has nothing to do with revenue and price per unit dollars and factories and products, nothing. We just need to look at the graph and decide the factor. Okay, acha. Now, we know that whenever we are plotting a parabola, this is a parabola. Okay, its equation would be, सबसे पहले तो y equals something and the x square term would be positive because it is इस तरह का, and one root is 0 and the other root is 500. This means that the two factors would be x and the other one would be x minus 500, right? Because now when I will equate this to 0, I will get answers x equals 0 and x equals 500. This means that since x equals 0 and x equals 0, x equals 500 is basically the roots of this function. So x minus 500 would be a factor. So D would be the answer. Did you understand, Ishan?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So इस तरह होगा. अब for example, let's say ये क्वेश्चन होता समथिंग ऑफ दिस टाइप, तो इसके फैक्टर्स x माइनस 100 एंड x माइनस 400 होता है. ठीक है. दैट इज हाउ वी डिसाइड. बेसिकली वी नीड टू चेक आउट द रूट्स. We are having x equals 100 and x equals 400 as our roots, so we just have to subtract them. Acha, let's talk about the next question.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes.
can you tell me the way I did it was वो जो ऊपर equation लिखा हुआ है तो उसमें x minus 250 whole square है so I considered that a factor. Can you tell me how that was wrong?
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, look. Now this is not a factor. What is a factor? A factor is something कि जब मैं x minus 250 square को उस पे divide करूंगी, तो I would be able to cancel something directly, right? We have a plus sign here. We have a plus sign here, and this plus sign is telling us that x minus 250 whole square is being added. It's not a factor. ठीक है? Factor basically इस तरह का होता है when we are multiplying something, right? When we are multiplying things, and then yes, if I divide this by x minus 500, so I would be able to cancel it out with this. For example, factors of 48, not 48, factors of 36 are, so we have 2, 3, 6, 4, and so on, right? This means that when I multiply 6 with 6, then I get 36, okay? This is important thing. So then I get 36, and since 6 multiplied by 6 is 36, not 6 plus 6, right? So multiplication is very important for factors. If you are able to multiply two factors and you are getting a function, then yes, those factors which are being multiplied are your factors, not the ones which you are adding and getting a function, right? Here you are just adding x minus 250 square with k, okay? Did you understand this now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Acha, so this is was the same question. ये गलती से आ गया था. Okay, let's do this one now. So last year, Gary's tomato plants produced 24 kilograms of tomatoes. This year, Gary increased the number of tomato plants in his garden by 25%. Okay. If his plants produce tomatoes this year at the same rate per plant as last year, how many kgs of tomatoes can Gary expect the plants to produce this year? Okay. So last year it was 24. Last year they gave 24 kgs, and this year he planted 25% extra. So for such questions, what we do is we can just multiply 125% with 24. And that basically would be 1.25 of 24. And the answer is 30. So the answer would be 30 kgs. And the concept is that since um, last year he had 24, so let's write it this way. 24 refers to, let's say, 100%, okay? And now he's saying that he planted 25% more. So this means that this year he would have these 24 plus 25% more. So you can just find 25% of 24 as well, right? And if you find 25% of 24, that would be 25% of 24, and your answer would be 6, right?
But ma'am,
Yes.
the statement that mentions last year, in that statement they're talking about the weight of the tomato plants, and then in the second statement they're talking about the number of tomato plants.
No, look. Look, here they're saying how many kilograms. of tomatoes can Gary expect the plant to produce? Kilograms here, and here we also had kilograms.
Yeah, but they're saying that this year he increased the number of his tomato plants.
Exactly,
So,
exactly, exactly. Okay, and then the next line is telling us if his plants produce tomatoes this year at the same rate. This means that if he had 24 kgs last year, if he will increase his plants by 25%, his kgs would also increase by 25% because his plants produce tomatoes this year at the same rate per plant as last year, right? This is why they have told this, right?
okay.
Okay. Did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the last question. Okay, let's do it. A biologist grows a culture of bacteria as part of an experiment. At the start of the experiment, there are 75 bacteria in the culture. The biologist observes that the population of bacteria doubles every 18 minutes. Which of the following equations best model the number n of bacteria t hours after the start of the experiment? Yes. So let's imagine at t equals 0, the biologist has 75 bacteria, right? The amount is n is 75, right? Okay. So at t equals 1, what would be the case? At t equals 1 means t are the hours, right? So we will have how many 18 minutes in t? We will have 3 18 minutes, right? 18 into 3 is 54, and that 54 minutes. Okay, so this means that n would basically be n, it would double after the first 18 minutes, so that would become 75 into 2, that is 150. And then after like this is happening, we have n 150 after the first 18 minutes. Then after the second 18 minutes, what is the situation? This amount would double and it would become what? 300, okay? And then by the end of last 18 minutes, we will have n equals 600, okay? So this is basically the concept. Now, what do you think about this question? What could be the answer? Now, if you look at A, can A be the answer? Yes, initially one would have thought that A could be the answer, but here T is the number of hours. So if we plug in 1 hour, we will not get 600. We will get something very, very small, right? So A is not the answer. What about the second one? Think about it. What about the second one? Yes, Zahib.
Not possible,
Okay, and why?
because again t is in hours and t divided by 18 doesn't really make any sense.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So basically, if you look at B option, we have 75 multiplied by 1. सबसे बड़ा problem इस question में ये है that 75 into 1 is not exactly um, the right concept. ठीक है, 75 into 1 will give us 75 as our constant plus something that is being changed with time. That is wrong. Okay, so you have to understand whatever we have initially, that is being doubled, and this 75 would be added just like that. So clearly B and D cannot be the answers, right? Is this okay that why I've crossed out B and D directly? Because we will have 75 as a constant term in both B and D, and this concept and this model is not going to have anything constant. Whatever we have initially, that would be doubled. Okay, that is why B and D cannot be the answers. Okay, now if we look at C, yes, C is the answer. And if we plug in T equals 1, what are we going to get? We will not get 600. We will get something more than 600. That would be 2 to the power of 10 divided by 3 multiplied by 75. So this is 755.95. But yes, this is the answer because I did this for 318 minutes. Okay, I still had 6 minutes, but I did not talk about that. Okay, so in those 6 minutes something would happen which we don't know what exactly that would be, because the only thing we know is that it doubles after 18 minutes, right? So this is the answer because this is the best possible model which we can use for our this is the best possible equation which we can use for our model, right? Did you understand this, Ishan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So that is it for today. I will stop the
Ma'am,
recording.
for two more questions.
Yeah, okay, okay, wait.